Oh, what's going on? Just don't mind me, just drinking a nice cold ale 8 over here. What a dumb intro. You guys ever seen the Criterion Closet? This is my poor version of the Criterion Closet with a lot less prestigious films. I guess we can start with a movie I've been thinking about a lot recently. That's going to be Onibaba. Onibaba is a beautiful and horrific tale about these two poor women who murder and rob war deserters. We are consistently shown this tall grass has this beautiful way, but there's a small feeling of what is in the grass, what lies deeper in the field. The film takes place during the Warring States period of medieval Japan, a time where there was this massive power vacuum in Japan, so various samurai clans battled in this massive civil war for power. These women are the mother and wife of one of the soldiers that went off to battle, and left them alone, unable to work the farms by themselves, leaving them poor and starving. Their only choice is to kill and sell the armor of their victims. The scariest part about Onibaba isn't the monster in the grass, but the scary part is what your situation can turn you into. It's one of the most interesting eras of cinema, the post-war Japan, from films like Godzilla, Akira. I don't know, I like the philosophical side of these films. I mean, the people of Japan look death right in the face, and now they realize the finiteness of their lives. There's a man who eventually joins the two girls, Hachi, a neighbor of theirs, who informs them of the passing of the husband and son of the two, and then slowly a romantic relationship with the younger girl and Hachi forms. This causes the elder woman to have a crisis. She is, one, jealous of the younger girl. The young girl is getting all the sexual attention from the man, while she's just thrown to the wayside because of her age. There's also a bit of juvenoia from her. You see this a lot in society with different religions and elders bashing the youth for engaging with each other sexually despite it being human nature to do so. It's I can't have it so you can't have it scenario. The older lady is filled with this jealousy and bitterness, but more importantly, the older woman is scared of being forgotten and left on her own. She knows she can't survive in this world without the young girl. I guess next we can talk about the film that I say is my favorite movie of all time when people ask. That'd be from 1985, Come and See, directed by Elam Klimov. No film has ever traumatized me more than Elam Klimov's masterpiece, Come and See. It is easily the scariest film I've ever seen, well, not even being a horror movie. It's hard to even call it a war movie. There's no ambitious battle scenes, but instead a more honest and intimate portrayal of war. Some call it the best anti-war film ever created. It blends several genres to create this monumental and powerful film. It just has a way to stick with you. It follows a young boy, Flora, during the Nazi invasion of Belarus during World War II. He's just this kid full of life, ready to defend his country, his village, his family from the invaders. Flora joins the resistance, the Soviet partisans, despite his mother begging him not to, and he'll quickly learn why she doesn't want him to. He will learn the true nature of war. He'll soon realize there is no right choice. There's nothing to do but to be woken up to the real horrors of the world. He will see the worst things imaginable. He'll believe that he caused the slaughtering of his own village. See, the Nazis didn't just torture the Jewish people at the time. They also tortured and murdered anyone in their path, including the Slavic people. One thing I absolutely adore about this film is just the close-ups. You just get these close-ups on the face. You see true terror in their eyes. It reminds me of The Passion of Joan of Arc. I mean, no words are needed to express the fear. You can just see it in their face.
Рожать.
I don't know, this film's kind of a coming-of-age story. I mean, it's about a boy quickly maturing into an adult, but, you know, it's about a boy losing that childlike spark and joy in life. It's kind of like my boy William Wordsworth from the I'm Thinking of Anything video.
Flora is doomed to this nightmare world, doomed to the unspeakable future he will live. He is doomed to see hell on earth.
You know, I can't really talk about Come and See without talking about his wife's work, The Ascent.
This film happens further into the Nazi invasion of Belarus. The Germans have taken control of this part of the country. The only survivors are the ones that give them food or useful information. The film follows two Soviet partisans, Sotnikov and Rybak. They are on a mission to find food for their unit. The film brings up so many questions about morality. Sotnikov and Rybak get captured by the Nazis, and you see how they react to being captured. One pretty much given up, he's accepted his fate, and the other is doing anything and everything to survive, or at least he wants to. He's too scared to make any drastic moves despite his desire to escape his capture.
Shevchenko actually went to film school with Brezhnov and Tarkovsky. She was married to Klimov, and it's like this weird, like, pot of a bunch of great Russian filmmakers in one spot at the same time.
The film possesses the question, how can you turn your back on your friends, family, your fellow countrymen, and conspire with the enemy just to save your life? Portnov, the interrogator, trying to pry information from Sotnikov and Rybak, is a Soviet. He turned his back on his people to continue living.
Где они? Ну что это? Из чего он состоит?
Это чушь. Мы же конечны. Со смертью для нас кончается все. Вся жизнь, мы сами. Весь мир. Не стоит.
But what is this life for Portnov? He doesn't have the respect of the Germans around him. He doesn't have companionship. I mean, he's still alive, but what is the life that he has? I guess the lesson from these three films is that the true victims of war are the civilians, the common folk. It makes you question what is the point of fighting this unwinnable battle. This film has a way to make you feel cold. When you watch it, you can almost feel the snow on your feet. The snow makes you start to feel numb. You start to feel numb. Life starts feeling numb, knowing you're inching closer and closer to death in this frozen hell. I am starting to lose hope.
Let's talk about one of the more honest films, at least honest to religion, something I really relate to, and that would be The Seventh Seal, directed by Ingmar Bergman.
A knight returns after fighting 10 years in the Crusades, and he starts to question what was the point of all that fighting. Who is he fighting for whenever he only feels the silence of God?
Vad väntar du på?
Jag vill ha vetskap.
Du vill ha garanti.
Kalla det vad du vill. Är det så grymt otänkbart att fatta Gud med sina sinnen? Jag vill ha vetskap. Inte tro, inte antaganden, utan vetskap. Jag vill att Gud räcker mig sin hand, avtäcker sitt ansikte och talar till mig.
Men han tiger.
Jag ropar till honom i mörkret. Men ibland är det som det inte fanns någon där.
The plot follows at night Antonius Block, and he is playing a game of chess against death. But you follow him through this crisis of faith. He doesn't understand why God doesn't just show himself if he exists. Why would he believe when all around him he sees his death, whether that be from the plague or the war he just fought for God? How can I believe in God if all I see in this earth is the unhappiness of man? He wants to believe in God so the battles he fought weren't just senseless acts of cruelty.
Sidney Pollack, the director of the hit film Absence of Malice, once said a good movie should be two sides of a good argument. And you get a great argument in this film between the two main characters.
The Night Squire Jans, who is a atheist man, who has accepted that this is it. Once you die, your experience is over. And then you have the Knight, who is a believer. You have their ideas battling each other throughout the film. Some days I relate to Jans, and some days I can feel the silence of God. And I relate so much to Antonius Block, the film kind of speaks to me in some way. Despite having this crisis, Block still commits good deeds. Despite not knowing if anything will come from it in death, he even commits the ultimate sacrifice, similar to the sacrifice attempted by Satnikov in the Ascent. There is a third side of the argument from the character Joe. He is kind of what I want to be. He is completely certain in his faith. He has zero doubts, despite not being part of the show in the church or anything.
I love how Bergman kind of inserts himself into this movie through the church painter character. Jones asks the painter why he paints such nonsense, and he just simply says to remind people that they're going to die. I mean, why always cheer them up? Why not scare them a bit? I mean, if you scare them, the more that they'll think, and the more that they think, the more they'll get scared. He just paints things the way they are, and people can do whatever they want with that. Like, Bergman made this film because that's how he saw the world post-World War II. Do you ever have one of those films that just sneaks up on you randomly and makes you think about it? I don't know, there's something about this that just makes me feel the movie, even though I haven't seen it in a while, and that's Andrei Tarkovsky's Stalker.
Stalker is a very slow-paced movie. You enter a level past boredom and just get immersed into the film. It has a way to consume you and sticks with you for weeks. The music creates this somber and beautiful atmosphere. The story follows three characters, a stalker, a scientist, and a writer who enter the zone. The zone is this unknown territory where anything can happen. You can enter the zone one day and it'll supposedly change the next time you enter, but somewhere in the zone is a room, and this room has godlike powers to grant anyone their biggest desire. The stalker is this guide through the zone. He has taken several journeys to the room, and all he wants is for people to believe in the zone and believe in the power it possesses. He is scared of a world without faith. Tarkovsky, the director, and Stalker are scared of the nihilistic world around them in this enlightened post-atomic bomb world. The scientist wants the Nobel Prize because he feels his work is meaningless without an award to justify his work. The writer wants inspiration for his next book because he feels meaningless without being able to do the thing he does best, write. They're looking for a reason in life, a meaning in this life, but ultimately, they don't go in the room. They don't get their desires answered. Maybe it's because you can't just jump to the good point in life, or maybe it's the fear of the unknown, or the fear of the unknown not existing. The fear that the room doesn't possess any of the powers it promises. We never even find out if the room actually does anything. Stalker might just be a movie about nothing. Watching Stalker is like watching your reflection in the water. You can stare into the water and get absolutely nothing, or you can stare into it and get everything and more. But what is the point of life if I don't believe in this room?
I mean, how do I talk about Tarkovsky without talking about Stanley Kubrick? You know, a Kubrick that I've been kind of vibing with recently has been Eyes Wide Shut from 1999.
Just like Stalker, Eyes Wide Shut has this unique pace that draws me into the film. The slowness lets you think for a second about it. The film feels like a dream, and it's just so awkward and out of place. Is the point of life to form human connection? Eyes Wide Shut follows a husband after he finds out about the adulterous thoughts of his wife, and he goes on this journey through more and more erotic encounters, from meeting with a prostitute to fighting this underground orgy from the elites. I don't think the adulterous thoughts are necessarily bad, it's just, how do you know someone? It's seemingly impossible to fully know someone. You'll never know how or why they feel or experience things. You only know what they allow you to know. I guess it involves some sort of trust, but I have a lack in trust from past encounters. I find it hard to trust someone on a deeper personal level. I don't know, man. Now I'm getting real personal in this video. But, I don't know. Maybe the point of life is to recreate.
You know, David Lynch is one of my favorite people in this world. I watch him read off the LA news every day despite living in good old Kentucky. You know, if you've never seen his first film, Eraserhead is an absolute treat.
There's no other movie like Eraserhead. The look, the music, it's all brilliant. It has themes of the anxiety of reproducing, the fear of reproducing in this hell-like world, but also the fear of settling. Henry has this crush on the girl next door, but he has settled for Mary and their premature child. But the key theme of the movie to me is the fear of growing up, because when you're young, you have all the options in the world, but once you grow up, you seem to have carved your own path already. And what if you don't find happiness in the path you've chosen? Henry has thoughts that the only option for him to find happiness is death.
In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. You got your good things, and I've got mine. In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. You got your good things, and you got mine. In heaven, everything is fine.
I mean, what is the point? I don't even know the point of these videos I make. I'm not even sure I know how to make a video about a movie. Am I adding anything to the discussion? Do I provide anything? I'm not really sure. I'm just really unsure right now. I find it hard to look back and say I've made anything good. I don't know, maybe it's me holding myself to a high standard, or if it's just me wanting or having this deep desire to make a good video so bad that I can't accept just an okay one. I don't even have really a drive to make videos anymore. I just kind of do it just to do something. I don't know. It's hard to make content when you see the content on this platform. It feels like once a creator hits a certain level, their content takes a dip, or maybe not. I don't know. Look at Dead Meat or Found Flicks. Do they even provide anything? Or they just tell you what happens in the movie and rob you from the experience of watching the film yourself? I don't know if it's a morality thing holding me back from being able to do this thing seriously, but I don't know. A great conversation I had with a friend was, what is the point of film? Is it to entertain or distract its audience, giving some sort of escapism? I don't know. Recently I've been feeling real numb. I've been filling the void which others people seem to fill with religion. I seem to fill it with countless hours of movies and random pro wrestling YouTube videos, but I still feel numb most of the time. I don't really feel anything when watching a movie. I just focus on something for 2 hours just to instantly forget what I just watched. One of my favorite feelings in the world, though, is after leaving the cinema, after leaving just some random movie and then returning to reality, my body, my mind, readjusting to the real world. It's this small moment of peace on the walk back to my car, the silent drive back home, this peaceful moment where my mind doesn't think about anything. It's been silenced. I don't know, I have this feeling that I don't want to be alone anymore. I don't want to be alienated by my surroundings. I mean, feeling numb isn't that fun. And I just watch countless movies in an attempt to fill the void in my life. It's just another excuse to not look myself in the mirror and who I am.
You know a film that I've enjoyed a lot recently, and that's Woman in the Dunes.
A teacher heads to the beaches of Japan in search of a rare tiger beetle, hoping to write his name into the history books for having a beetle named after him. He wants to escape death by being remembered forever. Your life has to have meaning if people remember you. He wants to symbolically escape death. I don't think people are really scared of the end, but they are scared of their life having no meaning. After spending the entire day on the beach, he misses the bus back to town, so the locals let him stay in one of their homes in the dunes. But the next day he finds out that he's been trapped in the dune with this woman. They force him to work by shoveling out sand from the dune every single day for food and water from the village. He can't comprehend what they're doing with the sand or the purpose of digging out the sand every single day. The film is kind of a commentary on the meaninglessness of a 9-to-5 job. What is pointless is shoveling sand every day forever until you die. How do we deal with life knowing that it's pointless and filled with suffering, and knowing that one day you'll just die? He continues to shovel the sand. I mean, what else does he have to do? If he doesn't dig, he can't continue to survive. The village won't give him food or water. He can't escape from the sand. But the man finds something in this mundane task. He finds that he can make his own water, somehow pulls the moisture out of the sand, and this is something he focuses on. He finds that this is his purpose, and maybe one day he could share this knowledge with the other village folk. He gets enthralled by this, and by the end, he has the opportunity to escape, but he stays. He knows that the world outside of the dune is just as meaningless as him shoveling the sand every day. The film shows me, even though life seems meaningless, I need to find a reason to endure it all. I don't know. Today is my 23rd birthday, so maybe that's why I'm feeling a bit reflective, but what if the worst is true? What if there is no God, and life doesn't matter? You go around once, and that's it. Don't I want to be part of the experience? I mean, it's not all that bad. I should stop ruining my life searching for answers I'm never gonna get, and just enjoy it while it lasts.
Beautiful birthday boy, I heard you crying through the wall like a party it's not your